What up, people? It's me, Manny. And isn't X-Men 97 just awesome? Well, so far so good, because as of this recording, I'm only on episode 4, with episode 5 about to premiere soon. Yeah, I have to record this ahead of time so this review could get out on time. If not, I'm never gonna make it out on, and everybody else is already reviewing it, so I have to try to keep up with everybody else with these shows. That's why I kind of like reviewing old stuff better. I can just take my time and, whatever. So yeah, I'm not gonna review each episode individually and be super detailed about it. I'm just gonna try to summarize everything as best I can to keep this video at a good length. And this will be the only time you'll see me on camera. Just, so I can get my presence out there and show off my cool X-Men shirt and hat. But other than that, yeah, this is the only time you'll see me in camera. From here on out, it'll be strictly voiceover, and yeah, hopefully the rest of the show is awesome. But I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna watch this too. Let's watch it together. X-Men 97 on Disney Plus. Is it any good? Well, let's discuss. Here's your spoiler warning, because I'm going to talk about certain plot points in this story. Alright, if you want to know my thoughts on the original X-Men 1992 cartoon, click on the top right to watch my X-Men movie review, where I discuss the X-Men cartoon a bit. In any case, I'll just give you the short version here. While the X-Men cartoon looked very cool to me, I never really got into it because of how convoluted the story is. No idea what the was going on. Too many characters, boring action, and a lot of drama that I couldn't give two about. Yeah, I wasn't really a fan. Even a few years ago when I tried to rewatch it, I just couldn't get into it. So please let me know your displeasures on my opinion in the comments below. Now, I know I just said I was not a big fan of the original series, but still, when I heard they're gonna continue the story of the original X-Men cartoon with X-Men 97, I was pretty excited, especially with some of the original voice actors coming back, like Cal Dodd, who's my favorite voice actor for Wolverine, especially in the Marvel vs. Capcom games.
Let's go, Bob.
Though his voice in the first trailer did not sound so good.
Jeez, Bob. Keep buzzing in my ear.
More on his voice later. Anyways, one thing I really did love about the original cartoon was the intro and its music in the intro. And I'm happy to say that X-Men 97 has recreated the intro perfectly. Though the music sounds a little bit more electronic now, it's still a great version that I enjoy very much. Still gives me chills to this day. Love it. In terms of the animation, the old cartoon does not look as good as we remember, as the animation is pretty bad. Honestly, to me, it was the art style that looked damn good and detailed. But looking at it now, it does look pretty shitty, especially season 5. Where I just got a little glimpse at it, and yeah, total downgrade. But yeah, the animation in X-Men 97 is much better. They obviously have a higher budget now, and modern technology. But at first, it did look like Flash animation. You remember those old Cartoon Network games that ran on Flash hardware or whatever? That looks like stiff, like paper moving? I don't know how to explain it. You had to be there to see it. Hopefully I can find an example of Flash animation and put it on here. But yeah, that's how it looked like at first, but you get used to it and it actually is pretty good. X-Men 97's animation gets a plus from me. Definitely not the best animation I've seen in modern times, but still good. As for the voice acting, it's good, but there are some spots where it's a little questionable.
Weaver of lies, I tear your thread and break your loom.
And this one.
I draw its fire away from the gardens. Rogue clears a path for Gambit to the Morlocks.
In my opinion, Magneto should be shouting these orders, because he's in the middle of a freaking war zone at the moment. Like, who could hear you? Speak up, motherfucker! Also, I recently rewatched Band of Brothers. Great show, by the way. You should check it out. And yeah, they're shouting in the battlefield orders and stuff. So that's kind of fresh in my memory. So I'm not saying this part in the show for X-Men 97 took me out of it, but it was noticeable. But it's not a deal breaker. The exception here is Rogue's voice actress. She is consistently great here. Her final line here nearly made me shed a tear.
Sugar, I can't feel you.
Anyways, from the trailer, Wolverine's voice acting sounded like it was gonna be bad, like the actor got too old. But once you watch the show, he actually sounds pretty damn good. He still has it.
Lady, I got 6 reasons why. Been in a lot of wars, bub. The brave always die first.
He just sounds a little bit older, which the actor's older, so it makes sense. I like it. Now let's go on to the story. First question is, do you really need to know everything that happened in the prior seasons to know what's going on here? Honestly, in my opinion, I don't think you do. All you need to know is what happened in the very last episode, where Charles almost got killed, so they sent him to another planet to see if they could find a cure for his element or whatever. That's all you really need to know. Everything else gets pretty much explained, even the fact that the professor is... well, they say he's dead, but they're treating him like he's dead, but he's still alive. They just don't know his condition and whatnot. But anyways, they explain everything pretty well. But if you want, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that really do a good job at recapping the whole series. So you can watch that too. That's what I did. But again, it was so convoluted, I kind of didn't even remember most of what they were saying anyways. Also, like I said, I'm only gonna briefly touch on these episodes and just talk about the parts that I found awesome and great, or any flaws that stood out. I'm a pretty casual X-Men fan anyway, so I can't really break it down like that without extra effort. So yeah, I'm a bigger fan of the X-Men movies. No shame in that. Anyways, the first 2 episodes I enjoyed very much. A great start and continuation for the series. By those of you disappointed by the little bit of screen time that Cyclops got in the movies, you're gonna be very pleased here because he has some badass action scenes. And he is basically the forefront character in this series now, so the story revolves around him a good amount. And unlike the movies, Wolverine gets very little screen time here. I was kind of surprised, but it makes sense. It's good to concentrate on the other characters for once. As a big Hugh Jackman Wolverine fan, I'm not complaining about this. Let's see what the other characters have to offer. Anyways, we see that in Professor Xavier's will, he left Magneto as the leader of the X-Men, which is a very interesting story direction, and Magneto actually takes it very seriously. Though his costume looks a bit feminine, for lack of a better term, and the risk of getting canceled. I did see that his comic book's accurate, but man, yeah, that outfit is it's just not it, man. Anyways, they take Magneto into the UN for a trial for all his crimes, and they really put his new outlook to the test when the Friends of Humanity, aka the out of here, get it? Cause FOH, fuck out of here. I'm sure I'm not the only one that thought of that, or to make that joke. Anyways, they put Magneto to the test when the Friends of Humanity and the Executioner shoots Storm, making her lose her powers. Also, real quick, is it just me, or does the Friends of Humanity's arm gun cannon thing looks like Mega Man's Mega Buster, right? But yeah, no, Magneto is true to his word and is gonna follow in Professor Xavier's footsteps, but gives humanity a stern warning to not test him any longer. So yeah, great first 2 episodes, love it. I also love the part where Jean Grey's about to give birth, but the doctor refuses to help her out as she could lose control and kill him, which makes sense. But then at the same time, is he being racist? So it's that little, question of, wait, you don't know what direction the doctor is really coming from, really. It's a good moment to see how mutants get treated in this world. In the 3rd episode, we find out that there's a clone of Jean Grey named Madeline Pryor, who was created by Mr. Sinister. And my goodness, she's fine AF. Just look at that outfit. Yeah, this is the best Jean has ever looked, in my opinion. There's also a very cool sequence where Madeline Pryor starts with their heads and they start seeing all these monsters and whatnot. But my goodness, how many alter egos does Jean Grey have? From the Phoenix, the Dark Phoenix, Madeline Pryor, even though she's a clone, but still it counts. Story-wise, this episode didn't really grab me as much, but it's still enjoyable. I had a good time with it. Episode 4 should have been more interesting to me, but it wasn't. Basically, the villain Mojo saps Jubilee and Sunspot into a video game world through his Nintendo game console. Yeah, I guess I'm just not that interested in the Jubilee character. But hey, at least she finally looks Asian in this cartoon. As to me in the previous show, she didn't look Asian at all. Gotta represent, right? The second half of that episode with the whole Storm getting her powers back thing wasn't that interesting to me either, so yeah, moving on. Now, episode 5 is the episode everyone was talking about, and for good reason, because it goes down in this episode. Basically, Magneto and some of the X-Men go to the island of Genosha, where a bunch of mutants live now. It's basically the mutants' own little nation, and they want Magneto to be the ruler of it. As he thinks about it, he wants Rogue to be his queen. Yes, it's revealed in X-Men 97 that they had a thing for each other in the past, because Magneto, with his magnetic force field, could actually touch Rogue. Then the massive Sentinel called Master Mold, or a version of it, according to my research. Sorry, I'm not too comic book savvy and I'm finding conflicting answers here, so correct me in the comments below nicely if I got this wrong. But yes, I believe it's a version of Master Mold that attacks Genosha and kills a bunch of mutants, including Gambit and Magneto, in a very emotional scene where he tries to comfort one of the mutants before they die. A very powerful episode, the best episode so far in this series. I love it. Great stuff. Look, one of my complaints about the original X-Men cartoon is that the violence was extremely toned down, where it felt like they couldn't even throw punches at each other. Now, I don't think that this show has to be overly graphic with its violence and swearing and have a TVMA rating, but to raise it to a TVPG or TV14 rating is perfect to show the right amount of violence while not alienating most younger viewers. So yeah, to me, is the perfect amount of violence for this show. Episode 6 concentrates on Storm getting her powers back, and we finally get to see what Professor X is up to in space. Which, sorry, not sorry, both stories do not interest me much, especially all this space mumbo-jumbo politics. Like, what is this, Star Wars Episode 1? All this space crap was part of the reason why I was not interested in the X-Men cartoon back in the 90s. To me, it was just not interesting, and it was very complicated, and I don't know who all these characters are. It's just, it's too much, too boring for me. Unpopular opinion, I know, sorry. But not sorry, it's just my opinion. Who cares? Moving on, episode 7, Rogue goes rogue as she's very upset about Gambit's death. Rightfully so. She's trying to find out more information of who made those Sentinels, and even meets up with Captain America as she tosses his shield away for not having enough information. Eventually, they find Trask, who is the guy who made the Sentinels, but then find out that somebody else is behind all this that wants to turn humans into Sentinels to destroy more mutants. Pretty interesting episode. But let's stop it here for now, and I'll be back when the next 2 episodes come to record more, and then one final recording for when the last episode is released. So sit tight, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Now, episode 8, Tolerance is Extinction, part 1, is a pretty good episode. We see Magneto is still alive. I have no idea how. And we see that the villain behind the human Sentinels is none other than Bastion. First time I hear of him. So yeah, I'm not familiar with this villain. Anyways, the UN lady sets Magneto free. A bunch of human Sentinels then get activated, which makes for some awesome action scenes, including with Wolverine and Nightcrawler. Finally, some pretty badass action from Wolverine. The episode ends with Magneto causing a big EMP blast that shuts down all electricity on Earth. And then Professor Xavier finally returns. Oh, and we get a quick cameo from Spider-Man. Could this mean that the 90s Spider-Man show is also returning? I don't know, but I also was not a big fan of that series either. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, episode 9. I like the back and forth that Magneto and Professor Xavier have. Magneto really did try to walk in Professor Xavier's shoes. No offense. After Genosha, you could see why he's very fed up, even though it's Bastion that is manipulating this whole situation. Rogue and Sunspot end up joining Magneto. So the X-Men split up into 2 teams to take on Magneto and Bastion. And I gotta say, I love this exchange between Cyclops and Cable.
Am I going to war or a circus?
What'd you expect? Black leather?
Which is a callback to this line right here in the first X-Men movie.
You actually go outside in these things? What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
That was very clever and it really did make me smile. Good one. We get more great badass action, but why, oh why, was Wolverine put in the team that's gonna take on Magneto? Because then this happens. I mean, it's pretty badass, and it is from the comics, so we're gonna get Bone Claw Wolverine back, but just logically it didn't make sense. Like, really? Nobody in the team thought this through? I mean, Wolverine is a bit of a hothead, so he wouldn't care, but still, come on. Also, I was confused why Cable is attacking Jean Grey, but I guess it's as simple as Mr. Sinister controlling him, which I don't know when that happened. I don't think that was explained yet. Honestly, I still don't know what Mr. Sinister's powers are, and it's too late for this review for me to find out, so whatever, let's keep going. The other thing that did not make too much sense to me was Cyclops attacking Professor Xavier. I had to kind of go back to see what I missed, and I guess basically if Professor Xavier fixes the whole EMP blast that Magneto did, all the Sentinels will turn back on and kill the rest of the X-Men that are down on Earth. So yeah, that's my understanding. I think that's correct. If not, I don't know. Anyway, still a great episode, and the ending did shock me. So yeah, looking forward to the final episode. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back, and I just finished seeing the last episode. And my god, there's a lot of cameos in this one. Too many for me to name, so I'll show some on screen here. I think there's a few characters I don't even know about. But hey, cameos are always cool. So now, Magneto's mind is in shambles, so now it's up to Professor Xavier to put it all together. As the Phoenix rises from her watery grave to take on Bastion, and puts that collar on him so he can't control those Sentinels. She also takes away all the mutant DNA that Mr. Sinister had, and turns him into a powerless old man. So yeah, he's done, but Bastion ain't done yet. There's an epic final battle, but the US president launches a bunch of missiles to Asteroid M, and Bastion just kind of jumps towards it. I'm not sure what happened here, but I think he's dead. So Asteroid M is about to fall into Earth and cause a lot of damage when Magneto finally recovers and stops Asteroid M from falling to the Earth. But I'm not sure what happened, that they all get teleported into different timelines. Some back in Egypt around this time, and some in the future around this time. And Wolverine was recovering, so I think he got teleported too? I'm not too sure. Quick glance, I did not see his face in this poster where all the other mutants are missing. But yeah, it basically ends in that cliffhanger, so we'll find out what's going on next season. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this show. Even though I don't know every aspect of the comic books or the old show itself, they explain it enough where you can still have a good time here. Though it still does get a bit confusing at times. But again, I cannot emphasize enough that I am a casual X-Men fan. It goes without saying that hardcore fans will absolutely love this, I believe. Also, real quick, I like how they remade the end credits from the original series, where it clicks through all the X-Men, and you can read a short bio of them. Also, yes, I'm looking forward to the next season. So with that, I give X-Men 97 an 8 out of 10. So what about you? What are your thoughts on X-Men 97? Please comment below and let me know. And if you made it this far and you liked the video, please give the video a like and subscribe to my page for more content from me. I really appreciate you watching my videos. So with that, this has been a review of X-Men 97 just cuz.